Very good. Okay. You're not locked yet. I'm seeing you. That's got Eric on there.
Just a few more moments.
Want to hear that? Good.
Good evening, Edmond. Welcome to the Edmond Mayoral Forum. My name is Eriech Tapia, and I'll be the host for tonight's forum. I'm a member of this place we call our community, serving on various boards, and am the secretary for the Edmond Summit Rotary Club. Tonight's forum is sponsored by the Edmond Summit Rotary Club and Edmond Active. We are pleased to host this online forum where we are broadcasting live from Vault 405 here in downtown Edmond. We will hear from both mayoral candidates this evening, Darrell Davis and Nathan Walters. This forum is a place for learning the views of each candidate and participating in democracy, which is the bedrock of our society. The questions from tonight come from a diverse group of leaders from across our city. There will be no debating tonight. Instead, each candidate will have 3 minutes to respond to each question. We will be able to cover 8 topics in our hour and a half together, but that should not be the only time you hear from these candidates. These are your neighbors, and both of them care about our city. So now let's meet both of our candidates this evening. Good evening, gentlemen, and I welcome you to the forum this evening. Let us begin with introducing, and we will start alphabetically on each of our questions with Darrell Davis this evening. So Darrell, give us a intro about yourself.
Thank you, Eric and Nathan, for this opportunity tonight, and also thanks to the Edmond Summit Rotary for hosting this event tonight. I am Darrell Davis, currently the Edmond City Council person for Ward 3. My family moved to Edmond looking for opportunities to live in a community that would welcome us, provide opportunities to be involved and make a difference. With the community's help, we were able to achieve that. But it didn't happen overnight. There were several leaders that were invested in me and my family with their time and energy, establishing a family environment. Even as Edmond grew from 35,000 to over 95,000 residents, I don't want to lose that feeling of family here. Family is very important. There's feedback, Eric.
Yep.
I started off serving our community by supporting my children's school, and I'm still doing that today, which led to me serving on tomorrow's Edmond. I moved on to the chairman of the Park and Recreational Department, and then to City Council, where I've been for the past 9 years. I've been a part of the plan, the smart planning expansion of our great city, and I want to help continue our progress while not losing our values. As your mayor, I will continue to serve, work with, and work for the citizens of Edmond. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Darrell. And now we're going to hear from Nathan Walters on his introduction. Good evening, Nathan.
Good evening. Thank you, Eric. Thanks for inviting me to this. Darrell, good to see you. I'm glad that we both could do this. I'm going to jump right in. Nathan Walters, UCO brought me to Edmond. I came to college at UCO, and I'm an alum of UCO. And I married an Edmond woman. I think that's one reason we decided to stay. But we love this city. I fell in love with this city 14 years ago. We wanted to raise a family in this city. We know the school system's absolutely phenomenal. I decided to run for mayor because I realized how important local elections were and how much local election communities matter. It affects our day-to-day lives. And I know we all can get caught up in national level politics, and those are the things we like to debate. But the local city council members and mayors, they're who affect our day-to-day lives, and they're who helps keep our city safe. It helps make it the city that we live in. I am a local business owner in Edmond. My family and I have lived in Edmond forever. We wanted to put our roots here, our businesses here, and we just want to help Edmond. We want to help Edmond grow. We want to help Edmond grow in the right way. I've seen some things is out there and traveling and going to different places, and you can see how when plans are put together, how a city can then grow into that plan. And government side of it for me is to help put that vision. And I want to help put the vision out there. And then I want to allow the entrepreneurs, the business owners, and the individuals who live in Edmond help grow it into the city that they want.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Nathan. So now let's begin with the topic which has changed every one of our lives within the last year. With the COVID pandemic continuing to take a toll on our city and the number of cases being at an all-time high, what will you all's approach be to moving the city forward as the vaccine distribution continues? Darrell, the question will go to you.
Thank you, Eric. Our community is being affected like the rest of the world with the COVID-19 virus. Yes, the symptoms and recoveries are different among each citizen. I feel we must do everything we can as a community to help reduce the spread of the virus, from wearing face coverings, the social distancing, and washing your hands properly. I am starting to see various supply chain items being interrupted. But the main one is our citizens are impacted the most. They cannot work for various COVID reasons. They may be sick themselves, or they may be exposed by someone else. They may not be able to work because their job is closed for various reasons. How can we help the medical and the science community to minimize the risk to everyone? Keep the supply chain open, and that will help keep our schools and businesses open. We need to continue to talk to our local businesses to find out additional strategies that the city can help them keep customers come patronizing their businesses. For example, we at the city implemented the streeteries that help businesses. We also reduced the signage ordinance so that the businesses could communicate to their customers as they were driving by. We need to do more conversation like that. Let's continue to have solution generating conversations and work with the community to support everyone in the great state of Oklahoma to get over this virus. We have been part of the discussion, but we need to keep the pressure off of the first responders, the nurses, the doctors, the firefighters, the police, the hospitals, all support staff in the community. And that is my concern, is that we need to do more. I don't want us to get COVID fatigue. I don't want us to let our guard down. So how do we have those conversations with our community, with the medical staff, with the scientists to do our part? Let's help each other. Let's help each neighbor overcome this virus. Let's not isolate ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Darrell. And now we will hear the same question given to Nathan. Nathan?
All right. First off, I want to start by thanking our first responders, our nurses, our firefighters, our police force, our doctors. I want to thank them. I know that this has been a curveball that came in February, March. No one was expecting this. I do believe that they have been absolutely been heroes, and they've been working their tails off, and they deserve all the congratulations and the thankfulness for doing what they're doing. I'm a big believer in individual liberties, individual freedoms. I'm a big believer in not having government overreach, to be honest with you. I think it is government's place to speak with business owners, to ask how we can help them through this event. But ultimately, I really believe that this is an event that if we overreach too much, we can end up trying to save somebody. We can still hurt them with loss of jobs, loss of income, loss of the supply chain. And when the supply chain gets affected, when a manufacturing plant gets shut down, we are not just affecting the employees at the manufacturing plant. We are affecting what comes down the line. If we as a business can't get something we need, we then can't fulfill something to our customer, which now puts strain on our business, which now puts strain on our life. And we are having such trouble in this, and it's been so cumbersome, and I know we're all learning on it. I truly believe that it is government's position to be with the business owners, to be with the individuals through this, but giving them those individual freedoms to make their decisions. If a business needs to require masks and to social distance, because those are the things that they live by as that small business owner, those are the things that they want to do to protect people, then as an individual, we now go to that business and we need to respect them as a business because that was their decision. Vice versa, if a business is, hey, we're going to wear masks, we don't require our patrons to wear masks, that would then be a decision for the individuals. Again, hey, I don't want to go there, I don't want to compromise myself, then you don't. So with those individual liberties that we're able to hand out that are God-given, they are God-given liberties, and it is the government's job to protect them per the Constitution. And we allow the customers, we allow the individuals, and we allow the businesses to make their decisions that they think are best for their families.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much, Nathan. So while many cities across the nation have been devastated by lower tax receipts, Edmond has actually had continual growth over the last several years. The city is financed strictly through sales tax and actually recently created its first ever tax increment finance district in the downtown area. So what are some ways you hope to continue this positive trajectory in sales tax? Darrell, the question goes to you.
Thank you, Eric. I've been working for the past 9 years with the city annual budget and the finance committee being on council. And admittedly, it's very difficult to ensure that our budget, our sales tax revenue is going to go in a positive way each year. There's a certain amount of vulnerability, as you said, with our budget because we depend solely on our sales tax dollars. And so that's our key. How do we continue to work with our citizens, with various businesses, to gain input on what is necessary to have flexibility in the city to increase our sales tax dollars? Do we need to increase infrastructure somewhere? Do we need to increase some transportation amenities? What do we need to do as a city to help with that? One of the things that we've done that I really supported was the implementation of the quiet zone. What did that do for us? Now the city of Edmond has retail, we have restaurants, we have residents, we have developers knocking on our door wanting to build in the downtown area just because of the quiet zone implementation. We need to look for other opportunities like that in our city on how to help come up with creative ideas. COVID did teach us one thing. We have to have some flexibility in our business, in our government, on how to create those opportunities for everybody. So let's say fiscally responsible mindset with our budgets, like we've been doing for the past 9 years that I've been on council. Let's not overspend. Let's be very conservative in my mind so that we do have some reserves. The ice storm this year is hitting our reserves, and we need to be prepared for that because we do live in Oklahoma and we never know what our weather and how it's going to impact us. So yes, we had 3.4%, I think, on our sales tax this year still. That's great, but we need to still continue to look for opportunities. And so I support talking to consultants. I support talking to our community leaders. I support talking to our businesses, and for them to help us come up with creative ideas on how to keep flexibility in our business processes in Edmond to keep our sales tax dollars growing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Darrell. And now we'll hear from Nathan.
Yes, Edmond has done an absolutely phenomenal job allowing their sales tax to grow. This year was no different. We may have thought it was going to be different, but we were blessed that it was not. We were able to continue growing in that direction. Truly believe on the government side that we need to speak with our constituents and see what they want. So, as being in Edmond now for 14 years, I've noticed a shift in Edmond in the age of the constituents. I truly believe our age demographic has been decreasing over time. I'm almost positive I saw a stat a week ago. The average age in Edmond's 36 years old now. So we are becoming a younger constituency in Edmond. We really need to see what is it that they want. What is it that the constituents of Edmond leave to go to Oklahoma City for? What are we leaving? Why are we taking our sales tax dollars there? What's happening? What are we looking for in Edmond? Are we looking for more walkability? Are we looking for more places to ride bikes to? What is it exactly that we're looking for? You gather that information, and then you look to the consultants or the cities that have done it. You look at the Frisco, Texas. You look at Denver, Colorado. You look at Rosemary Beach, Seaside, Florida. You look at these communities that have sought that out, and then they have put a plan together through rezoning. The quiet zone is phenomenal. It has allowed downtown. It has enticed business owners to come. I look back when I was young and they first started the MAPS program in Oklahoma City. I'm so proud of being an Oklahoman due to that. Oklahoma City, I believe, lost out on an airline company in the 80s, and they realized we want businesses to come here. We have to invest in ourselves first. We have to give them a reason. We have to give them a reason to want to come here. Why do businesses want to come to Edmond? What businesses are we trying to entice here? You look at your constituents, you ask them, we talk, what are you looking for? Then you help set up a plan through infrastructure, because as we've seen, if we grow too quickly and we're not prepared, it can become a problem which can actually hinder these businesses. So we look what they're looking for. We put a plan together through zoning, zone some of these things properly to where we entice the correct businesses that our constituents are looking for to come into town. And we give them that environment to thrive. And when they start thriving, sales tax dollars are going to thrive with them. It's very simple. It's going to help push that direction. And that's what I really would like to do.
Well, thank you so much, Nathan. And I hope everybody does understand the quiet zone. This is a thing through BNSF that allows the trains to drive or go through Edmond without blowing their horns at the various intersections and crossings, just for clarification. So in recent years, developers have promised grand developments with hundreds of apartments and shopping at the area of Covell and Interstate 35. However, this area remains mostly empty besides projects which have been given tax incentives. Some projects have received millions. Additionally, the Broadway corridor continues to have empty developments, while the city has spent money on new signage in an effort to enhance the entrance to our city. What will you all's approach be to providing an oversight to areas of town that have received city funding but continue to remain undeveloped by private developers? The question goes to Darrell.
Thank you, Eriech. That is a very complicated question because our economy, first of all, we have to understand why. And when I become mayor, I will want to be able to communicate to the citizens why certain developments are not moving forward. So you take I-35 in Covell. One of the things that has happened is that the market that we were trying to put there has changed. And so we need to work and redevelop and rethink what can we do with our developer and go forward. That is one of our principal problems that we're having in the development of Edmond, is that as the market changed, sometimes we are not moving as fast as people want us to do to revitalize that area. And so we are looking at other plans, and I agree with that, to look at other plans to how can we properly develop I-35 and Covell. We can go out there and put a lot of things, but that's not what Edmond wants. We want to ensure that we get the right things in there, and that is part of why we're bringing in consultants to help us. What is the new I-35 and Covell? What should it look like? You mentioned the Broadway corridor. Yes, the Broadway corridor is still, it's our entryway to downtown, but we have to look at ways to, how do we reduce traffic? How do we reduce the speed? How do we increase walkability, mobility in that area for our citizens? Right now, we're looking at a downtown plan to maybe look at a centralized government building, maybe a park, downtown park, and maybe a boutique hotel. But we've brought in 7 different developers who might help us with that vision there. Developing Broadway corridor, that's our entryway, what I'm going to call the heart of Edmond, our downtown. We need to be very careful and work with everyone, citizens, the current builders and owners down there, and how to do that properly. It is something that we cannot take lightly.
Thank you, Darrell. And now we will hear from Nathan on the same question.
Awesome.
Nathan?
Thank you. Thank you. I will, this kind of touches back a little bit to your question that you had before about ensuring having a proper plan and a place to go. Obviously, being a small business owner, I was not a part of the tax incentives that were given to the development on I-35 in Covell. Unfortunately, in a free market, if that's zoned and that land owns it, there's not much the government can do now as we speak. There's not much I could come in and fix in this moment. I-35 in Covell is going to be so important because it really will be the hub of East Edmond. You know, as we're moving out to East Edmond, is that's where Edmond has to grow. If the growth is going in Edmond, we have to move east of I-35. That's where the land is. We have to be prepared. What we don't want to happen is that to become disheveled and for that to maybe become in a way where we're trying to play catch up, like how we have on Broadway. Now, Broadway's really turning. It's really turning into something that I like, but I don't know how much I could fix on the private land that's owned now. But what I can tell you is that's one of the main reasons that I'm really wanted to step into this role, is I really want to help make sure that East Edmond, as we're going in any of this undeveloped land, is zoned properly so that we then entice the correct business owners to come here. If we want I-35, and when I say we, I mean the constituents of Edmond wants I-35 in Covell to be something specific. That's what the constituents are yearning for. That's what the people are yearning for. Government's job is to zone that in a way that it entices the businesses we're looking for. That's all we can do on that side, but we have to be ahead of it. You have to understand your constituents. You have to understand what the people in Edmond want, and then you have to put that plan together. If we don't have a plan, and I'm talking in life, if you don't have a plan in your business, if you don't have a plan in government, you're going nowhere. You're constantly chasing yourself. We put the plan out, and then we allow those businesses and those entrepreneurs to fill it in the way that Edmond wants it to fill in. And that's how I want to operate in that atmosphere. I don't want to feel like we're behind. And I know Edmond had such sharp growth so quickly that there are areas of Edmond that we definitely need to work on the infrastructure, because we had some growth and things really got jammed up. And I know we're working through those things. What I don't want to do is make that same mistake and not get the infrastructure, not get the zoning properly for what we're looking for on I-35 in Covell and even east of there, to ensure that we have what the people want, which could be walking, which could be trees, making sure, hey, these neighborhoods here are next to this mixed use development, which allow this part to walk to the coffee shop, to walk to an eatery. That's what I want to do. And that's what motivates me on this topic.
Thank you so much, Nathan. So Edmond's two largest employers in town are the University of Central Oklahoma and Edmond Public Schools. Both deal with education. What is your understanding between the partnership between the various agencies, including the City Council, UCO, and Edmond Public Schools? Additionally, how do you think you could grow these relationships? Darrell, the question goes to you.
Thank you, Eric. We're going to grow and strengthen those relationships because they're already good. I have been involved with several of the partnerships that we already have here in Edmond. When you look at the YMCA and the Aquatic Center out at Mitch Park, I was on the park board. I was the chairman of the park board when that initially came to our table. And I worked through it to its completion. We need to continue to have those discussions with those types of partners on how can we come together at the table, have those tough, detailed discussions on what can we do together. What we've realized is that as we work with partners, with more than one, we can accomplish more. And you can look at that at the Tennis Center on 15th Street that we worked out with the Edmond Public Schools. We need to look for more additional opportunities like that as the school system grows, because eventually Edmond will grow to that fourth high school where we're going to need more activities. We're going to need more middle schools, more elementary schools. So how can we jointly look for things? Maybe put a park next to the high school and have joint use of land and activities that way. And that's what we to have a strengthening conferences where we're talking and working on that. And then also when you talk to the citizens of Edmond, because it's going to be their students, their children who are going to these schools, find out what other activities or what other things that might be necessary to help include in these partnerships. We need to have those discussions and keep moving forward. With the University of Central Oklahoma, it's the same thing. We've had many discussions, many road trips with them to look at other communities that have a joint performing arts center with the university and the city. That is something that we need to look at, because if you haven't noticed lately, Edmond is starting to become a destination town for arts. People are coming. We already have art tours downtown and around town. How can we capture that same energy with the University of Central Oklahoma? Keep having those discussions with them and look at long-range plans to help revitalize those interests among the citizens, the university, and city government.
Thank you so much, Darrell. And I would also like to mention that this question came in partnership with the Edmond Parent Legislative Action Committee and Tony with them. So thank you for that. And now we will hear the same question from Nathan. Nathan?
Thank you, Eric. Yes. First off, Edmond Public Schools is something that is a big driver for real estate at Edmond, as we say. It has always been ranked as one of the top in the nation as public schools go. So I absolutely love Edmond Public Schools. It is definitely one of the top reasons why my wife and I chose to raise our family here. Obviously, UCO brought me to Edmond, right? The University of Central Oklahoma is how I ended up in Edmond. I'm an alum, and I absolutely love that campus, and I love the things that they're doing. Ultimately here, it goes both ways. We need to ask, again, it goes back to our constituents. What is it that the parents of Edmond for their children are looking for out of our schools? What is it that they're looking for? Are they looking, for more activity? Are they looking for what is it that they feel that Edmond Public Schools is lacking in a sense that we could help, that we could partner with? And then it goes back to the schools as well. Okay, let's talk to the public schools. Let's talk to UCO. What is it that you're seeing? What is it that people are yearning for? And how can we help? How can we partner together? Because I believe as mayor and I believe as city council, we're not in those schools every day. We're not going to understand what they need without talking to them, without speaking with them. And then we put a plan together to help them achieve their goals.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Nathan. So with Edmond being the 5th largest city in Oklahoma, what are some of your thoughts on representing our city at a state and regional level in the mayoral position? Darrell, the question goes to you.
Thank you, Eric. I think it will be a wonderful opportunity to represent the city at the state and regional level. I look at this as when I go up and down I-35, I look at that as an economic generator. And I look at the towns that are associated off of I-35. Please remember, Edmond and I-35 and Route 66 are economic generators that we need to capitalize on in Edmond. And so doing that, we're going to also look at from a regional, we're going to look at Oklahoma City. We're going to look at Moore, Norman. We're already looking at the Regional Transit Authority to how can we expand transportation up and down that corridor. Let's look for opportunities to capitalize on that in Edmond, because as you go north on I-35, after you get to Covell Road, when is the next major intersection? So I want to work on a regional level for representing Edmond to help expand our resources, our community, and the smart development of Edmond, but off of I-35 and Route 66. Looking from a state level, I want to work with our state legislators as they come up with their rules that they develop each year on some that can help Edmond and our community. How can we have that communication with them to say, Edmond is growing, Edmond expanding. There's other things that we need to ensure. I want to ensure that they understand the policies that they're putting in place, how they're affecting us. And then I'll also like for us to give them recommendations for policies, how to help our region, our state, and our city as we go forward. Once again, one of my common themes tonight is I want to come to the table with everyone that's necessary to be part of the discussion. We don't want to leave anybody out, because that's how we got to where we are today, is that many years ago, several people sat around a table, had the discussions. What does Edmond need to look like? And we need to continue to have those discussions with everyone from the regional level to the state level, all the way down to our local citizens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Darrell. And I also put a plug in the upcoming weeks. The Edmond Summit Rotary will have a speaker from the Regional Transit Authority coming in to speak to us about some updates. So you, the viewer, I hope you'll join us and check out our Facebook page to watch out for that. And now we will hear from Nathan on the same question.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, obviously, as mayor and being on the city council, we have to work with these other agencies, make sure that as we're expanding, that we can exit I-35 and Route 66 well, right? We're already seeing it. I-35 and 2nd Street is backs up when you're trying to turn east already. Those are things that we have to work regionally and at the state level with our counterparts. Ultimately, for me, on representing myself on the state and regional level, man, ultimately, I want to represent our constituents. I want to represent our city. That's what I'm most here for. I want to represent them. I want to make them proud. I want Edmond to be a place that people want to move to because they know the schools are great, because they know the city is safe, and they know that it's a place that businesses can thrive. And when businesses are thriving, that means that individuals are thriving. And that's ultimately what I want to push. So obviously, yes, on the state and regional level, to help get the infrastructure we need where we tie into each other, we have to work with them. We have to make sure that they're not sending legislation down the pipe that could ultimately affect us. But on the representing level, I want to make sure I'm representing Edmond and its constituents. That's more important to me than, being represented on the state level.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Nathan. And I'll just put another plug in. This fall upcoming, we'll have a cycling event coming through the city, and there will also be a Route 66 exhibit at the Edmond Museum and Historical Society. So check the Visitors Bureau and Museum for those updates. So my next question, in recent years, there's been a renewed interest in downtown Edmond. What are your thoughts for this area, and what should be brought in to this area to create a destination instead of a drive-through downtown? Darrell, the question goes to you.
Thank you, Eric. As I stated earlier, we are currently a part of the city working with developers on how to revitalize, redesign, revamp downtown Edmond. This team that I'm currently sitting on, we sat down and had discussions with 7 developers that came in to talk to us. They gave us proposals based on a request for information that was sent out that said to give us ideas. And that's what we need, are ideas from developers. And then in conjunction with talking to the current business owners that are down there and future business owners for down there and our citizens, what needs to be downtown? Do we need a parking garage? Do we need a boutique hotel? As I said before, do we need to keep that centralized or expand on that centralized park down there? Do we create a corridor with the public safety center and a centralized government building that's going to create synergy for all the Edmond employees and the citizens in one area? Or do we do a joint venture with somebody to create that same building that may have a retail application or a commercial application to it also? So I'm in favor of keep moving forward and having discussions and how to create opportunities in that area. We're already working on creating a TIF zone down there in downtown Edmond. It's already an opportunity zone. How to create those opportunities for businesses. We've looked at certain areas where their infrastructure was lacking. It could not support development. So we're working on putting that infrastructure in so that the development can come in at the same time. And we're not playing catch up there, which is good. So I'm supportive to keep having the communication, keep getting the ideas in. What do we want downtown Edmond to look like? How do we want people to traverse into downtown? How much walkability, mobility, additional mobility do we need to have to support the number of people we really want to come visit our great downtown? Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Darrell. And now we will hear from Nathan. Nathan?
Awesome. Thank you. I absolutely love the opportunities that present themselves downtown. I really feel in the last couple of years, we're starting to get some traction. We're starting to see some things changing over. We're starting to see things, businesses open up that are attracting people to downtown. I think of 3 things when I think of most downtowns. I think of shopping. I think of somewhere you can eat, and I think of places that there's activities. And what you get when you have all 3 of those places together is you can drive your car to downtown, you can park it, and then you can spend the majority of the day without ever having to drive again. You can shop, you can eat, you can do activities, you can walk around, you can be around parks, you can be around breweries, be around eateries, do activities. And those are the things that I see in downtown that allows it to be more of a destination in a sense than, oh, we just drive through, we'd park real quick, pick one thing up and leave. I see it as a place that it's an event even for your family that lives there. I think it would be great if it attracted people into Edmond. That's more sales tax dollars, as we know, but I also think that's secondary. I would love for it to be a place that people that live in Edmond are proud of, a place that we go, that we choose to spend a day on. We're going into downtown today, and we know that we can get down there. We can have multiple meals. We can do multiple activities. We can even shop while we're down there, have a good time, walk around, sit outside, go to a park, go to a green area. And those are really the things. Again, it comes back to my main thing. If we're going to do that, though, we have to have a plan. And we've got to create a plan, and we've got to have it zoned properly in a way that these businesses can now come in. They know what we're looking for because the constituents told us that's what they're looking for. And they know as soon as they sit down, they're not going to have to try to rezone it themselves. They can come in. It's easy. They do it to our standards that we're looking for. And now they have a business, and it's more for our community to enjoy.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Nathan. And I'd also like to put a plug in of this year. The Edmond Fine Arts Institute will be creating Edmond Vibes, which is an art walk that will be beginning in April. So check social media for that. Now to our final question of the evening. What is your vision for Edmond? Darrell, the question will go to you first.
Thank you. Eric and Nathan and the citizens of Edmond, with over 25 years of working with various committees and boards and commissions and even the city council in Edmond, my vision for Edmond is real simple. I want us to be the safest, most well-run, and business-friendly city in the state of Oklahoma. It is vital to continue to plan smartly for growth and revitalization of our great city. My top 3 priorities are public safety, street improvements, and economic growth and business development, job creation. I propose that we continue to work and look for growth opportunities and partnership opportunities like we've done with the YMCA, Edmond Public Schools. Let's continue that. Let's look for some affordable housing, like the partnership we have with Turning Point Ministry. Let's look for let's have discussions with local businesses and see, do they require infrastructure or revised infrastructure, improved infrastructure to help facilitate their growth, expansion, or just general building coming to Edmond. Let's have a conversation with the Edmond residents, our community, and our business leaders, and for them to help us build Edmond smartly. Ultimately, I want my legacy as mayor to be that I gave myself and to help our community become even better for families so that they want to live here, work here, and play here. Edmond is a great place to grow, and I want to continue that motto. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Darrell. And now we will hear from Nathan.
Awesome. Thank you.
Nathan.
I absolutely love this city. I think I didn't run for mayor because I thought that something was so out of control wrong. I thought that we were definitely trending in the right direction, and I'm running for mayor because I want to make it better. That's the best thing about being a small business owner is every year you have to get better, and you know that you're being pushed. If you're not changing, if you're not looking into yourself, if you're not looking at your business is dying. And I want to do that. I want to do that for Edmond. My 3 main priorities here that I have is the safety in schools that we have. Those are already 2 of the main reasons that real estate in Edmond does so well, because when you look into Oklahoma, when you're moving from out of state, most parents are going to be looking for what has great schools and what has a low crime rate. And Edmond is already meeting those things, and I want to keep pushing that forward. I want our first responders, I want our police officers, our firefighters, IMSA, I want them to know that we support them. I want them to know that we're going to continue to back them so that they can ensure that our city stays safe. I want our teachers and our school administrations to know that we support them so that we can continue on keeping the education level where it is. Secondly, obviously, I've talked about it multiple times tonight. It's that smart planned growth. Okay, we have to have a plan, and we have to be smart about it. We have to be able to zone things to where they work. If we don't want these traffic jams and we don't want things getting backed up as we're growing, we have to beat it to the punch. We have to know what business we want on the corner. If we have something at at Route 66 Second and Midwest Boulevard, we have to know that we want something there. We have to know what we want there. If we know that we want that to be a convenience store, we need to make sure that the roads are ready for that kind of traffic. Those are the things I'm talking about making sure that we're prepared and we set it up for it to grow in the direction we want it to grow. And thirdly, probably my number one priority is just individual freedoms and allowing Edmond to know that we work for the people. It's not the other way around. The people don't work for us. We aren't the boss. The constituents are the boss. And I want the constituents to know that fighting for those freedoms and protecting those God-given freedoms is one of my main priorities. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Nathan. And I also want to thank you for joining the Edmond Summit Rotary and Edmond Active for this mayoral forum. Make sure to check out the Oklahoma voter portal for all upcoming elections and sample ballots. I hope you will join us back here tomorrow night at the same time to hear from those running for city council. We have 7 to go through tomorrow night. Until then, let's all make Edmond a great place to grow. Good night.